everybody. Patriot Sons Podcast, episode 141. By the way, I just noticed the Twitch mobile dashboard is live for all of you watching us on Twitch. We will be able
Right.
to see you.
Twitch
Welcome.
us.
Welcome.
Twitch
Yeah.
us. We want to Twitch with you.
Welcome to the Twitchers. Welcome, Twitchers. We love you. We absolutely love you. Man, listen, I had a conversation with my mom about a week ago before the Olympics started. And she goes, I just don't understand why the Super Bowl is going to supersede the Olympics. And I was like, well, time differences, but the Super Bowl brings more eyeballs. And she's like, but it used to always be. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was listening to her, right? And her argument was that it used to be this massive, big thing that everybody, even regardless of time zone, would figure out a way to watch the most important parts of the Olympics. They said, well, two things. First, if you look at the Olympics, it's not a country sport anymore. And I said, oh, let me use the Summer Olympics for an example. In the Olympics, in soccer, we poach people from like Nigeria and from the Middle East because they're the best of the best. And they play for the American team. They are not American citizens. And I said, suck it.
Diversity is our strength. Go ahead.
The one you're really not gonna like, right? Is that I used the Summer Olympics again because I knew we were going into the Winter Olympics, and I didn't have my most current reference was the last Summer Olympics. Is the Olympics lets boys come in and beat the hell out of girls in boxing, and gives them a gold medal. And my mom's like, yeah, but that was only the summer. I was like, no, mom, this is the way the world looks at it now. There was a time where the Olympics was a literal country team
Sacred.
sporting event, and you cheered for the Americans in whatever event that was.
We cheered for them in swimming. We cheered for them in diving.
Michael
We cheered for
Phelps,
them in.
Greg
We all remember
Louganis,
Florence Griffith Joyner with one pant leg on and one pant leg off, running
Mary
that
Lou Retton at
sprint.
4'4".
Carl Lewis, leaping tall buildings in a single bound. Yes, we all remember all of that. But one must remember that we're talking about track and field and the tremendous exploits of American athletes at their peak. And the Winter Olympics has always been held in places like Lillehammer and what they call it, Albertville, which I've heard would referred to as Nowhereville. I mean, one time Lake Placid, very memorable with the Olympic hockey, but that was kind of a one-off by the United States there. I mean, the focus on the Winter Olympics could never compete with a Super Bowl. I mean, once Joe Namath uh, called the shot, the Super Bowl has captured American imagination, and it is the show.
It's
And
absolutely.
it has been for 50 years. And the Winter Olympics can't compete with that. And I'm sorry, Mom, it's just not true.
I don't even know if the Summer Olympics can pull Super Bowl numbers, even in prime
No.
time. Well, you got other issues
Sean,
going on, right?
Sean,
So
the Summer Olympics can't pull Turning Point halftime numbers, okay? I mean,
alright.
50 million or whatever they're going to have, that's fucking incredible. And by the way, for those of you who don't like country music and may have sampled Turning Point's halftime, I want you to go back, not to listen to the entire thing, because some of it tired me out too. But Kid Rock on the last song, he wrote an additional last verse, which had tears in the curmudgeon's eyes. I want you guys to think about that. Those guys, those of you who have been with us for the extent of my tenure here, you don't see me get emotional about a lot of stuff, but I'm listening to that song and I'm listening to Kid Rock. I mean, Sweet Home Alabama Pirate, that copied Skinner and Sweet Home Alabama all night, whatever, singing this ballad. And it's gut-wrenching. It's so good about the American experience and the faith in Jesus
Yep.
and the Christ. And this is going on halftime at a Super Bowl and drawing 50 million eyeballs.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway,
Oh no, I agree, and that was obviously one of the things I was going to talk about was
yes.
the halftime show,
Don't mean to jump
and
ahead, but
that
holy crap, that was amazing.
well, and then he went by. He came out as Kid Rock, did "Ball with a Ball," duh.
Right, of course.
Everybody who knows him, but also remember, there's gonna be people that are, let's say, in the 14 through 24 age group that have no idea who this old guy is.
Right.
And but their
He's
parents
he's
are watching it, and so they're seeing Bob with the Ball, and they're like, "Alright, it's got a good beat, I can move around to it." And then he comes out and says, "Hey, by the way, my actual name is Robert Ritchie, and I wanna sing
yes.
to you about Jesus."
Yes.
Which
Yes.
which you and I know his legal name,
Yes.
but that's only because I've followed him for a long time, not because of the Kid Rock music, but because I've followed him as he does podcasts everywhere.
Right. We need to repeat something important about him, okay? And you have to view it through this context. And in fact, the prism that this context is viewed, it and this podcast is the largest generation gap in the history of Western civilization is pre and post iPhone.
Mhm.
I mean, if you were 10, 11, 12 when the iPhone came out, you have nothing in common with the people older than you that never had one.
And
Or
that would be the people who watch the Olympics on primetime national television,
thank
right?
you, thank you.
And went to Kid Rock concerts.
Right, right. And yet he captured them.
Mhm.
He did it.
He did a good job.
And it 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 destroyed me. I mean, I was listening to that. I'm like, man, I wish Kurt could hear this. Holy crap. What a I mean, he'd have made a 6-month thing out of that.
Well, it was a couple of years ago, and it went viral for the younger people, even though Justin Bieber is not a younger people anymore. Oh, when, Justin Bieber put out a music video from one of his concerts where he professed salvation, from Jesus and then sang an entire 5.5 minute song about Jesus. And this was Justin Bieber. It there's probably about a 10-year, maybe 15-year gap between the 2, but you're still not putting him in that realm of the 14 to 24-year-old, which is an advertising group that is
Of course.
super important to sponsors. And
They always talk about the 25 to 50-year, 54-year demo, but ever since the iPhone, the 14 to 25 has become vitally important. Yeah.
yes, that's the people who will move money around. Even
Those
if
are the
they don't have
TikTokers
money,
that
that, "Mom, I need this," or, "Dad, I have to have this thing."
those are the I would call them the TikTokers. That's who they are.
Yeah. Well, and if you look at it, then that brings me back around full circle to they don't watch the Olympics.
And
Why would they watch the Olympics?
why would they?
Will NBC let them watch clips on their phone? No, because NBC is doing direct DMCA takedowns of everybody who posts a clip of which is the most retarded thing they could possibly do because they don't get it. They don't get NBC, CBS, Fox, and then we'll get to the cable networks later. I'm just talking about your 3 local channels that you get.
Let me say
Don't
that
get that everybody has left them, and by
let
forcing media, to only be accessible through your platform, you guys are toast. You're done.
let me say that that's the biggest mistake that NBC has made since hiring Kristen Welker.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a
They clearly don't get it. They think that by forcing nobody else to share their own content in short video format, that they're gonna get eyeballs to tune in? No, they're gonna get less eyeballs.
this guy right here said Vox Populi. And that's how I feel about NBC. Right there.
Mm.
Okay? Yeah. You guys can suck it. All right? You're dogs and with fleas and you can't figure it out and you're not gonna figure it out and you're gonna go broke.
WAPO! What just happened at the WAPO?
They fired 300 and they should have fired 600.
I think it's coming, and I really do because the people that they've kept behind, did you see they immediately wrote an opinion piece about, like, Colin Kaepernick was the most important person to talk about on Super Bowl Sunday? And you
Okay.
go, "Oh, really? That's your I'm gonna get Jeff Bezos. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get him big with my
Time
opinion piece."
Jeff, you didn't go deep enough. Time to get out the scalpel and get back after it. You need to follow my lead today. You know how many
Really?
I got rid of? All of them.
All of them. All of them.
Oh, they're all gone. They're all gone. I don't need to listen to any more excuses about why you can't come to work. I don't need to hear any more crap about sick kids or other priorities or personal business that you could take care of when you're supposed to be doing your shift. Uh, it's over. It's over. I mean, Sean, I felt like I was running a dining room at Denny's, and the guys next door were running Five Guys with two people and just killing me, and I couldn't get anybody to show up to wait on tables.
Right?
Or for I mean, nobody thinks of the curmudgeon as legacy media, but let's be a little humble. I was legacy beauty. And maybe that's the only kind of beauty I have. I used to tell people that the beauty industry was calling me. Apparently, it was a B flat. All right.
Do you think 10 years from now, when, robots can do all of the booty jobs, this would be something you'd just be interested in buying 10 robots and going, "Fuck yeah, I'll open." I don't even have to be there, the robots will do all of it. They'll do your
Well,
hair, your nails, your massage, they'll do it all. All
as
I have
long
to do
as
is lease a place.
maybe, I mean, that's kind of like the idea of the Tesla that can ride for Uber and have no driver. You
Yeah,
know, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
robotaxi. Yeah, yeah,
robotaxi, right?
yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Bezos has knocked himself out when he wasn't firing Washington Post reporters, trying to figure out how to get the right box color that would let some psychotic woman dump it on her head and come out with something that she'd be proud of. But hasn't happened yet.
Dude.
Amazon doesn't have box
Did
color that
did
works,
you
and any
see
any any of those two person what Five Guys salons or whatever that can take splat from Walmart and turn it into something that you can actually go on a date with are somewhat successful, but it'll never be a big deal.
Did you see? Well, obviously, we need to just acknowledge everyone's going to go, well, Jeff Bezos has the controlling amount of shares in Amazon. Jeff Bezos is no longer the CEO. He has a lot of sway. He is not the CEO. But a couple of things that are noteworthy here is he adopted robots earlier than Elon and through his warehouse systems.
Right.
And they've mentioned by they think the end of 2027, they will be able to reduce their human workforce by 90%
Yeah, I mean
with AI and
they're
robots.
going to use delivery drones, right?
Well, yeah, no, but just inside the warehouse alone,
Okay.
you got robots that just go grab the things, put it in a package, stick a label on it, throw it
So
in a
they wait till they see the electronic signal come on and they go get one of those and then they know it's right.
yeah, and it's not even this isn't even the flying drones. This is robots,
All
like
right.
humanoid robots, forklift robots, all kinds of different robots that go grab things. and
Alright.
process and they don't bitch for breaks, they don't try to unionize, they don't they just work until it's time for them to go back to the robot alcove and charge, and then the next
Or
robot comes out and
until
replaces
or
them.
until, like most guys, they need a lube job, you know, that kinda thing.
So well, in this of course, they're working on drone delivery, but this is just inside. They
Okay,
have
just inside, alright.
and they have said to their shareholders, their stakeholders, that, they plan to reduce their workforce by basically 90% and replace them with robots.
Well, at least the orders will be accurate.
They will, because the
Yeah,
robots can actually scan something.
right, and actually follow directions instead of taking a break or walking away. Yeah. If I sound a little, disgusted, uh, I am. Anyway,
Well,
hey,
I
we've
bring
got
it up because
listen,
it's a
Sean and I have a great idea for the next curmudgeon vibe about, content, so coming soon.
mhm.
We're not even gonna spoil the surprise in case it doesn't work, but keep your eyes on this space.
There'll be
Things are
plenty.
gonna liven up,
There'll be plenty.
even more
Go
than normal, and that's without me yelling at Edward or anything like that,
We
or bitching
definitely
at him about his internet connection or Nortel or whatever's wrong in Canada that he remains apathetic about and won't do anything about other than go on about libtard. So, there you go.
declare independent. Well, I get it. I get it's harder than it sounds, but it's been done before. It's been
It
done
has
before.
been.
Edward, if you're listening to this, we love
We
you,
love
and we
you.
want you to declare independence
We
as a
do.
nation.
In fact, this is actually the Yankee and Canucks show. And
Yes.
tonight it's the curmudgeon and the patriot, or I mean, really, we're filling house. I mean, this is almost like a Rush guest appearance. I mean, think of me as Mark Stein.
Yep. Mark
Think of
Stein.
yeah, and I mean, think of Sean as what was the guy's name? Uh, oh, I love that dude down in Arkansas. What was his name?
I don't
He
know.
had a lot of really good ones. Ken, something or other. Yeah, no,
There was a
he
lot of good ones.
yeah, but if you can't come up with it right away, it doesn't matter. It's just like, well, what the hell's he got Alzheimer's? You can't think of the guy's name. Well,
It was
oh,
that
there
dude.
was a God, it's right on the tip of my tongue. It was a I mean, guys who got banned on COVID and all that shit. They were decent. Doc Washburn, that's who I'm trying to think. I liked him, but man, he got his career trashed by bitching about masking and all the rest of that, and he didn't have enough. He didn't have enough
Well, don't you
oomph.
think? The Rush Limbaugh show was unique in the fact that they've had the biggest numbers ever. So Howard
Always
Stern did not like he was big. Rush was monumentally big.
gargantuan.
And so if you got to be and you'll hear stories from some of these guys that only did 1 or 2 episodes, but if you got put into the rotation of guest hosts, yes,
Yeah,
for the great Maha Rushy, you
yeah.
had officially made it in radio. You
And
had,
your following in your town would go up 25%
at least.
immediately after you did that, because people would seek you out. It
Yes.
was an opportunity for you to promote yourself if you didn't overdo it.
We see some of that go on in the podcast world, which is where we live. We saw that with Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. Right? For whatever you think about either one of those 2 characters, we watched Charlie Kirk birth Candace
You
Owens.
guys
But there's a
you
lot of
guys
things that like, if you just watch, like, X Spaces, if you're a big X Spaces fan, you will see these big giant X Spaces, and then all of a sudden, somebody will get one chance to speak, and they
right.
say something really cool, and then all of a sudden they are a constant presence because they provide content. So I will tell you what's different than podcasting, where we are providing content to you. In X Spaces, what the hosts are trying to do is to get others to provide the hours long of content. So the host can just get up and say, "Yeah, no, I'm done listening to this shit." Hang up, and it's literally hang up. You just hit a button and cancel them from the space. I've done,
Help them
I've done,
out, huh?
I've
Yeah.
done 500 of them, so I know this well.
Really? Well, you've paid your dues.
Spaces?
Yeah.
Oh, I've done so many. It's actually it if you want to hear any of our old spaces. I have not deleted a single one. They are
I
on my
was
archive
wondering I
file.
was wondering what you were doing while I was Evil Eva's weekend stooge. So
Spaces.
now I know. Yeah.
Spaces. I was hosting spaces. And a lot of times I was the content, but a lot of times I wasn't. And I'm just telling you from massive experience on doing that. And TikTok has a very similar feature to X Spaces. Is what you're trying to do is get people to be your content. And so if I could just say something outrageous in my headline, you're gonna come in and immediately "Rah!" and, all I gotta do is go and let you
Turn
all
on the
argue
mic.
for
Yeah.
3
Go
hours, and I don't
ahead and
even have
fight it out.
I'll read
By the
through
way,
X, I'll doom scroll, I'll watch TV. You guys, you are the content when you go and just rage, on these spaces or on these TikTok lives. You're the content. You are literally the content as opposed to a podcast where me and JC are providing you some content.
I've actually done that to people, and one of them was Edward. I would bring him on an Eva show when I was tired, and I'd do the setup and set him up to go on about libtards and rant for 7 minutes, and you just sit back and let Edward go. I mean, he's like a
Go to the
he
bathroom, go downstairs, grab a sandwich.
yeah,
Yep.
take a leak. Yeah, you
Yep.
don't have to. Yeah, and he'll still be going when you get back because he goes libtards. And And there's no talking to him.
Mm. Well, it is. For I know we don't have a lot of people listening tonight, but we got it's recorded. This is. I want you all to understand that when you go into one of these spaces, or when you go into one of these TikTok lives, or anywhere else, could be a Telegram, could be a Discord. I don't care what the platform is. Is that the host is hoping to say something to get all of you to provide the content, so they
Uh-huh.
don't have to. And who gets paid? The host, not you. Even if you dropped bangers, like whether it's legal bangers or something else, I'm glad you had a good time, and I've had a lot of good times doing some of those, but you got to understand, it's it's the host is just abusing all of you to create content, so the host doesn't have to create the content.
It's the libtard. It is.
Well, we could talk about quote unquote MAGA content creators who are not conservative Republicans.
Oh, might those people be the ones that say, "I've tagged John Thune, so let him know what you think."
Mm, I
How
mean,
much how much imagination does that take? I never do that. I mean, that guy doesn't give a fuck what any of us think. He's listening to his masters, and he's trying to think about what excuse he can use to take this cup from his lips. Where Jesus prayed to the Almighty and said, if there's any way for me to avoid this crucifixion shit, just say the word and I shall be healed. And the father said, "That's why I sent you." it's your duty, and so, the head bowed and, "Yeah, okay, I'll go."
Mhm.
Uh, but, as far as that goes, most people don't have that sense of duty. They just don't. And when the going gets tough, they take off. Anybody else notice that?
I think I think one of the things you also gotta look at, though, is, just human nature. So
Well,
humans will see like, normally our our lives have more viewers, and that's totally okay. We watch it too. We're not immune to watching the numbers, or going back and looking at the actual analytics about 24 hours later to see who is watching us. But what people will tune into, it doesn't matter what platform, and they will see a number and they'll go, "Holy crap, there's 7,500 people watching this. Wait, no, there's something with 300,000 people that must be really important if everyone went there."
going over there.
And
Yeah.
it's not. It's not important at
Oh,
all, at all. But it's a numbers game, that they play through on the
I
internet. It
listen,
looks
I
like,
will
ESPN does this, HBO does, they all get the same analytics we do when they broadcast a show.
well, let me just say this, that X platform is the leveling wind. We can see who's watching what.
Mhm.
And for those people that sit there and tell me they think Dana Lash is great, I'm like, how come no more than 200 people listen to her? Because all she does is tell the same stories about how her kid got bullied, and then she threatened the guy's father with her husband kicking his ass and all that.
Well, I
No,
always
I
feel like
haven't.
she's yelling at me. Why is
Right,
she
right.
yelling at me? I'm supposed to be on her side, right?
I'm an ally, right? No, I find her uniquely uninteresting, and I mean, she's an old Tea Party gal. I think she was distrustful of Trump because, the Tea Party got consumed by bitch communists and they fell for it. And it bothers them
Paul
that
Ryan.
MAGA,
Paul Ryan crushed the Tea Party.
fair enough, but it bothers them that MAGA has staying power. And the MSM is understanding now, even Harry Enton, who's a flake, but he actually can think. Okay, let's give him credit. He says, "Hey guys, MAGA's going to long outlast Trump. You guys don't understand this. This is in the DNA now of the Republicans, and they're not going to be able to shut it down."
Mm.
Yeah, that's right. And in fact, it's been waiting to grow since Perot, who I
Okay.
voted for. I admit that. At times I was embarrassed about it, but looking back at my choices, I like the vote. I mean, he's a psycho, but you want me to vote for Poppy Bush? Are you kidding? I didn't even vote for him the first time. How about the Dukakis? No, 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 not that guy either. 96 Dole Kemp. Come on, guys. I mean, what are we doing here? All right. And then we hear that we've got to vote for W. I'm like, what the hell for? But you'd had enough of Slick and blowjobs and everything. So all right, we'll push him over the finish line.
Mm.
He gets pushed over the finish line, and what happens? Amnesty. Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
look, we're gonna burn our war. Yeah, yeah. Let's go to war. What a great idea. I'm gonna be a war. I'm gonna be a wartime president. Oh,
I
okay.
remember when, George W., let's just call him W, made the decision to go to war in 2 different countries. My mother was getting a total aorta discectomy, and I'm laying on a couch, pre-internet, but CNN obviously is on the hospital waiting room TVs. My grandfather's there, my aunt and
Shocking.
uncle are there, obviously my dad's there, my brother's there. And I looked over at my grandfather, World War II, veteran, but not combat veteran. We'll get into that later. And I was like, why the hell is W putting us in 2 wars now?" And I remember looking at my grandpa, and he goes, "I have no idea."
No.
Calmly as he go World War II generation, like the silent generation. He's like, "I have no idea."
No. We're talking about pre-iPhone, so let's be honest about
Yes.
who the
Yep.
electorate was at that point. I'm part of it, alright? I've never owned an iPhone, I don't think I will. I've got the Samsung Fold phone, which is iPhone-like, but I I don't like I don't like Apple, but, whatever.
Mm.
Not important. You're looking at the Republican Party back then, and you're hearing the Democrats beating beating the anti-war drums. And in fact, I've been known to be involved in discussion forums,
Mhm.
and it was always, well, he got us in this war, and you'd see people struggling to justify it. You see people talking about why it had to happen, why the U.S. was at risk if we didn't do this or whatever. And finally, we all just, in 2006, we all just vomit and say, you know what, this is a joke. It's not the right thing to do. And we go ahead and say, yeah, we're against it too. And Trump was the first to verbalize it, say it was a mistake. Jeb wet his pants, all that. You weren't supposed to challenge the consensus. But the fulcrum moment was Obama runs as an anti-war candidate, wrote it to his massive landslide victory, gets into office, and becomes a pro-war president. The
He
liberals flip 180 right now, and they're in favor of the war.
he dropped
And
more
I'm
bombs than any president has ever
what?
dropped.
He
Ever.
droned he droned countless kids, families, all sorts of people. He didn't have due process for Al Qaeda. I mean,
He
really?
droned Americans in a
Yes.
foreign land.
Now, if you all weren't just stunned by the fact that the left is now pro-war on a dime, the 20th of January 2009, and all of a sudden the left is in favor of the war. And you're like, what? I'm sorry, what the fuck? And you had an anti-war consensus in the nation, but as usual, the left abandoned ship because they wanted power. And it took Trump to get elected to reformulate that anti-war caucus. And we're still struggling.
Well, so when
I
I
mean,
watched when
I
I
mean,
watched
Lady G is still wanting to bomb Iran.
well,
They
no,
don't get they don't
no,
give up.
he
It
is, but I also get from I don't have cable, so from the likes of X,
Oh, you're
you get
really missing out.
you
Yeah,
get
okay.
you get everything you need to get. From the likes of X, I can watch clips from CNN and MS Snow or M Snow, whatever it
So, yeah.
is, and they're all saying, "Well, Trump started a war by bombing Iran." I'm
No,
like,
the hell he did.
"Really? What
No.
are we considering war?" What's the difference between a strategic airstrike, Barack Hussein Obama, or Barry Soto,
So
and
Toro.
Soturo, and Trump dropping a few packages off, gifts, really, for the Iranians?
I've got a question for all of you that are listening to Sean's question because I think it's a good one. Was the recent action in Venezuela, was that a war? We won, right?
That's it.
I mean, we
That's the question. Was that war? Or was that a military action?
we okay, let's stay with it. War
And
is
we
usually
won.
defined by, as they say in the in Sons of Liberty, we capture their king, right?
Yeah.
We did. It took 2 hours, right? After the sleazy son of a bitch had been dancing around showing Trump how unafraid how unafraid the you Sean, can you get the clip and put it on here? I mean, I wanna watch
I need to find it.
Maduro dance and taunt Trump. I mean, that's beautiful. That was within weeks of the extraction.
You can't do it.
Okay. Now wait a minute. The Go ahead.
He thought Russia would protect them.
Yes. Or China,
No, Russia.
or Cuba, or
Eh,
somebody.
well, Cuba, of course, Cuba can't. China can't.
All
Russia
the Cubans
won't.
all
Russia
the Cubans
won't.
are all the Cubans ended up
Russia has
dead.
never, ever, ever not wanted to be strategic partners with the United States. To everybody who tells me, "Screw you, the Soviet Union," the wall
Oh,
fell, the Soviet Union died. Vladimir Putin has asked over and over, we could create the greatest global security system in the
alliance.
world if you just
Right,
let me in.
right. And they won't because our friends, the British, don't want it. And that's the definition of elite opinion.
Is it because
Nonsensical.
is
I'm
it wrong?
nonsensical. I guess they're hitching their wagon to Sir Keir Starmer and his ardent defense of Greenland.
He's about to go out in very unpopular
Listen,
style because of
he's I'm sorry, that guy is just the dumbest MF I've ever seen as the head of a
I
state.
get
I mean,
it, but because of this whole we're gonna use the Epstein files, which proves zero guilt. I got it. Hold on. Let me reset. The Epstein files, 3 million files dropped, more coming. Zero people. There's zero guilt proved by anything in these files.
it's almost it
I know everyone's gonna go, well, Sean, fuck you. We need to prosecute and hang the pedos. Great. Show me in the files where somebody is guilty, and I will say, absolutely. So when we get into this, that you say Trump's a pedo or Trump's a pedo protector, or and I'm gonna go, well, all right, prove to me with the files you have millions and millions and millions of files to read through. Prove to me who's done some felony, I don't or a misdemeanor, and we will hang them. I'm totally cool with it. We'll just drop them from a tree. That I'm dead serious about that, but prove to me from these files that we can do that because I'm gonna tell
well,
you,
they
you're never going to get it. They don't
well,
exist.
if you're even gonna get close to it, you gotta reveal the names. Because I mean, a memo to Epstein from somebody who said he ate a kid doesn't mean anything unless there's a name associated with it. And maybe even if it did have a name associated, it wouldn't prove anything. I mean, the trail on this stuff is old.
It's hot garbage.
Yeah, yeah.
No, no, did bad things happen? Of course, I'm sure they did. What I am telling, the public that's listening to us or will listen to us later, there's nothing in these files, and I've been telling you guys this for a year. There's nothing in these files that will implicate anybody into a conviction. That's why they never released them. You're like, well, we want to know the names. All right. So Sam Walton from Walmart once got an email from, I'm making shit up.
Yeah.
Got an email from Epstein like, hey, buddy, you want to hang out? And Sam Walton said, nope. Okay, so Sam Walton hypothetically
Is in the Epstein
is in
files.
the
Yes, it
Epstein
is.
files, right? And the dude who notoriously drove around a 1970s pickup truck is a billionaire. Oh yeah, he got an email from Epstein. So therefore he's guilty of what? What? What is he guilty of? Getting an
Getting an
email?
email from Epstein. That's what he's guilty of. Is that against the law? You know, Sean, as I don't try to fixate on viewers, but we've done a bad job on Tuesday. These folks are not expecting anything, obviously, because they're not here. All right, I'm not gonna bring it up again, but we're gonna MTGA. We're gonna make Tuesday great again. Okay. I mean, obviously it's gone to seed. So we need to have people looking for something dynamic on Tuesday, and I'm going to make that my mission.
It might have been the title. I'll only tell you this because I've been doing this long enough that titles and then the subtitles, which doesn't show up here, but it shows up when people are tuning in, will be eye catching.
Okay.
Right, and so the faint of heart fall away. Everyone's like, "Yeah, I know,"
Yeah,
and then
that
they
could
scroll
be
down a little farther.
like 1,000 people that we follow on a daily basis.
Right.
That
So
could be like the
title's
Senate.
huge. Title's
Yeah.
huge. Absolutely.
Who wants to hear about John Thune for the 80 zillionth time, right?
Well, a lot of that's
Fuck
true.
that
Like,
guy.
so
All right.
retention is a different thing. Title is how you get people in. Uh,
He's like a lizard version of bitch McCommunist, you know? Yeah, I mean, he
Lord.
looks desiccated. He needs hydration or
Good
something, you
lord.
know? He's totally non-compelling. I know he got by on his good looks when he was younger, but I mean, this guy's a desiccated old man.
Do you think?
And
I
it,
don't know. I'm actually gonna have to ask, my kid this. Do you think that whole thing that probably with the last 150 years, a little less than 150 because that would include the very ugly Abraham Lincoln, is that we hire people in politics because they look or politician, or they look senator, or they look presidential?
come on. How can Gavin Newsom even be seriously considered for anything? I mean, the guy isn't
Mm,
fit to work on a chain gang. All right. I mean, they really, he's
mm.
beyond useless. He spends money like a drunken sailor, and he lies. I mean, the seminal moment for anyone who wants to know about Newsom is that aggrieved mom in the Palisades, who I guarantee doesn't vote with me. Okay. And frankly, she sounded like a Karen, you know. But I don't want to judge too much. I mean, Peachy Keenan was there too, and she's pretty cool.
There's
But
several,
she's
yeah.
running up to him, Governor, that's my kid's school. What? I'm on the phone right now with the president to fix this. And she's like, no, you're not. Well, I'm calling you.
Which he
She
wasn't.
totally spunked him out. In an age where authenticity is valued, Gavin Newsom is likely the least authentic political character I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I think on that
Huh.
set on that on let's set the scene on that. So, let's look at both entertainment industry, and then let's look at politics, which is part of the entertainment
As
industry.
Breitbart said, downstream culture. Yeah, it
Yeah,
absolutely is. All right.
is that what they don't realize is that our generations are the last ones that are gonna watch their entertainment. Everybody else, and I don't think they get this, are going to get their entertainment and news, but mostly entertainment other places. And they're just pandering to people that are dying.
Well, I mean, that may not put it in a way that sounds comfortable to me, but I know it's true. I'm not any younger. I mean, look, I'm in the fourth quarter. Any
Sure.
anyway you look at it, I mean, I'll be 64 next week, and we can celebrate my birthday on the show if you guys want.
We absolutely
But
will.
yeah, but the fact is, that's a lot closer to the end than the beginning. I'm sorry, folks. I've watched so much fucking football. In fact, my second wife admired me in a way because I would say what the announcers were about to say before they said it. And she thought that made me sound smart. I was horrified. I said, "Are you kidding? I'm not any more authentic than that. I'm not any more authentic than Joe Buck. I mean, that loser thinks he's a thinks he thinks he's a comedian. I mean, Troy Aikman is a drone. I mean, they're stupid. Why would I aspire to be like them?" So I quit saying anything because it made me sick to think that I was such a robot. But remember, but remember, this was all pre-COVID, so this was before the curmudgeon came out.
Well, that's a good point, but also if you think about it, you were literally programmed from hearing all of that stuff that you could predict within half a second what they were gonna say.
Yes. And
Alright? It's
remember,
programming.
I was programmed into television. I mean, one of my earliest memories was my mom swearing because Joe Namath won the Super Bowl. And of course she hated New York and she
Mhm.
hated quarterbacks that laid around in pantyhose and all the rest of that because she thought it was cultural sludge.
Well, of course.
But that was where we
No
lived. I mean, it was
different than people looking at
Sean
Bad Bunny
John, it
today.
was Muhammad Ali, it was Howard Cosell, it was Frank Gifford, it was Monday Night Football, it was Dandy Don, and we'd all sit there and soak in that sludge while Howard was doing these ridiculous interviews with these celebrities at the Monday Night Football game, and we thought it was great, and we couldn't wait to tune in. What a bunch of losers we are.
It was the only real source of content. I mean, you obviously had radio, um, but the real source of content, the Hollywood power was not movies, it was television.
Oh,
It was always television.
right.
I
And
can get you to
and
glue in whatever night of the week to watch this specific show, and I'm only gonna give you 3 channels to watch,
right.
and one of them is going to have the big show on Tuesday, the next one on Wednesday, the next one on Thursday.
Go on. This was reality. Saturday night, we
Mhm,
couldn't wait for it. All in the Family,
mhm.
The Jeffersons, MASH,
Good.
Bob
So
Newhart,
good. So good.
Carol Burnett, all the way through. 4 straight hours of staring at the tube. Couldn't miss it.
I remember it was 2001, and I moved in with a girl who was not my girlfriend as a roommate, and I had to tell my parents, I'm in college, and I'm like, "Well, this works because she'll pay half the rent, I'll pay half the rent." And my mother says to me, and maybe it was my father, "So it's like a three's company type of thing?" I said, "Yes, I'm not
So you
dating
must be
her."
you must be gay, right? Like Jack Tripper, right?
That's
Yeah.
what the point was.
Yeah.
You must be gay
Yeah.
if you're
Anybody
moving in
remember
with a woman, in the early 2000s for them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anybody
and
remember
and
Miss
you're not
Miss
with her? You have a different girl?
Anybody
Like,
remember Mr. Roper?
uh,
You know,
both
and all
all
the
of them,
bugging for the camera he
all
did,
of them,
Norman Fell. He was hilarious. Yeah.
all of them. Yes. No,
Audra Lindley and
but that also that era of TV, incredible content.
right.
You couldn't you couldn't get away from it.
The kind of insight that you come to this podcast for, if I want to make a statement, is the fact that money has always governed this. And those shows made a lot of money. But
Yes.
what the networks found out was that the real money was in the advertisements on those shows. And the best writers gravitated from writing for the situation comedies and went into the ads. And the commercials got more and more compelling and better, and the shows went to shit. I
Well,
mean,
do you re they, ran like 5 6 or 7 seasons. Do you remember a show called Mad Men that
yes,
basically explained the whole thing? It was also a brilliant show.
really.
Brilliant show.
Well, remember, Sean, the content that you were getting from the commercials, once cable showed up and they figured out they could get people to pay to watch television instead of giving it to them for free, was to grab those best writers and put them in these series that they wanted you to binge.
Mhm.
And so all of a sudden, The Sopranos and Mad Men
Well,
and 6 Feet Under and all the rest of these things, they weren't on network TV. Network TV was filled with slop and trash, and all the good
yes,
shit was on cable.
yes.
All right. And everybody would talk about it, but nobody was like nobody was aware of what was happening. Well, why is that? Oh, I'm gonna watch that, and then I'm gonna watch it end to end, and then you get on demand with cable and all this. And now my fucking TV bill that used to be free is now $268 a month.
Right, and
Oh
then
my
and then if I wanna watch the season finale, I gotta pay an extra $20.
right, right. But I get to bundle, so it's okay. Yeah, I mean, the phrase "sheep to be sheared" comes to mind, folks, because
I thi
they have been studying ways to shear us
I think when they
constantly.
saw I think the networks, just in general, when they saw that the internet was so cool that people were just not watching TV anymore, and I'm going all the way back to the dial-up days of the bulletin board systems, and we were taking time away from our televisions to go hang out with people. Go
Um,
talk, go share pictures, go share stuff we even videos, but it took 4 hours to upload a video at 56
what
baud,
what
K-baud.
came immediately after that age of cable binging on series? You know what came?
Mm,
The iPhone.
yes.
The
And
iPhone
it is
ended
other than the Model T, the iPhone is the greatest innovation that has happened to the world. That being said, it's dead, even though I use one. It's dead. The next greatest thing will be Optimus robots. It's you're
us.
all gonna and I know you're all gonna go, "Ah, no, I can't do it. There's no way I'd have a robot in my house." Listen, you already have if you have one of those, Amazon devices in your house or you have a Ring doorbell, or you're already being spied on. This thing is just slow down. This thing's
Right.
actually gonna be helpful because when you
You
say,
telling me
"Hey,
that Savannah
hey,
Guthrie's mom was being
hey,
spied on and nobody knows what happened to her? I mean, isn't that
hey."
what everybody's
Well,
talking about for the last.
That was a Google Nest, to be specific, so we're accurate. Google Nest. "Oh, she didn't pay for a subscription, but it's still
Oh, that's
recorded."
what it was. Yeah, she didn't pay enough. Okay, I
She
got it.
didn't pay for the subscription, but we were able to get in contact with Google, and Google was recording
They
anyway.
knew. How about
They
that?
already
And
had
did
recording.
they see the Mexicans that nabbed her, took her south of the border? Because that's what happened. But they don't want to talk about that. And at least Savannah's smart enough not to give the 6 million in Bitcoin to people that can't prove they have her.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. No,
I don't
no,
see
I wouldn't do that. That's so manipulative. Now, admittedly, the Bitcoin you'd have to supply is about half the number of what it would have been before. But you take advantage of the downdraft from 120,000 to 60. You get a discount. Get a discount on finding out whether mom's alive.
pay
But
on the
yeah,
you're saying pay the dip?
yeah, pay the dip. That's what they'd be doing, or be the dip is more like it. I mean, don't get taken every time, folks.
I
And
I
do I think it's a tragedy? Do I think it's a tragedy? Of course it's a tragedy. Is it any more tragic than 320,000 children lost in traffic by the Biden administration of the
no.
border? Fuck no, it isn't. Okay. It's a celebrity's mother, a Trump hater, and a Trump hater's mother. I mean, the mother's a Trump hater too. I mean, she published all that. I mean, she's obviously a Karen. I look. I don't wish anybody dead. Okay, but she's not she's not worth 10 straight nights of Fox News programming. And the remaining Fox watchers are bitching about it. And I am in their face, getting big, Sean, going,
Yeah, no,
will
no, please lay that on me because you know how I feel about cable news.
you finally turn it off? They are the establishment. We need the SAVE Act to keep illegal aliens from voting. That's signal. Savannah Guthrie's mother is noise. And they're distracting you in their prime time with this every freaking night, trying to dribble out the clock so they can throw elections to illegal aliens.
Check that
Jesus, wake up.
check this out.
Of McCarthyism that has afflicted America since the 1950s. When you look at this paper that has been reproduced and sent by the Justice Department, it's called Prominent Names. And it's a list of prominent people who have been accused. Every single name of every accuser has been blacked out. So, for example, let's turn to me. It says blank, 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 blacked out, stated she gave him a massage on Epstein's plane, parenthesis, not a minor.
So real quick, I'm pausing. This is Epstein's actual lawyer when he was going through all of his
Right.
charges. I'm gonna go ahead and start the
So if there were any massages to get, he'd have gotten them, right? Anyway, go ahead.
So I'm gonna go ahead and start the video again.
So let's understand that. This is an adult, a woman who was on Epstein's plane. She says, I was never on an Epstein plane with a young woman.
Right.
I never got on this. This is total defamation, a total lie, but I can't disprove it because they won't give me her name. McCarthyism on the issue of his spying for the. Okay, well, let me continue.
Let's get
on
to
the
that.
issue of his for the Mossad. That comes from what is called an undercover confidential source. I happen to know who the source is. The source is somebody who the FBI investigated, found to be totally incredible, lacked all credibility. This is the worst form of McCarthyism. Why are we tolerating this? Why are we allowing accusations without the names of the accusers? For example, in my case, it's an adult woman. We don't know whether she's a victim. We don't know whether she's a perpetrator. We don't know whether she's a co-conspirator. Why do you hide her name and produce the name of the people who are accused? That's guilt by accusation. That's guilt by association. It's McCarthyism. It's wrong. It's unconstitutional. It has to stop. And the media is playing a role in this. Politicians are playing a role in this. Epstein will never
Let
be
me jump
remembered
in for a second.
He will be remembered for inciting McCarthyism that infects America now more than it ever has since the 1950s. It has to stop.
All right, what's your thoughts there?
I largely agree with him.
I do too. I've never really had a problem with Dershowitz. I know people did because he was the one that came out and said everybody has a right to a fair trial, and he was the defender of Jeffrey Epstein. But he goes, I also know a whole bunch of shit because of that.
But Sean, you know what? You're familiar with Nat Hentoff, right?
Yeah.
Right. Old line liberal reminds me of Dershowitz because when he says he believes in free speech, he means it. All right. Everybody's entitled to a fair trial. So he defends Epstein. Guess who else he defended? Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, the lightning rod of all lightning rods. And if you were going to choose career, you sure as hell wouldn't have done that. And yes, he's whined about it and he's been a pussy, going on about how he's not invited to the cocktail parties at Martha's Vineyard or whatever because of the Trump. They wrote a book about it, and I appreciated what he did so much that I bought the book. Of course, I didn't read it, but you know the point was I wanted to support him because I believe in principles. And if you espouse them, you should live them. So Dershowitz, to me, beyond 98% of anybody on the left, lives his principles. If we had people like him on the other side, we could have a governing consensus. I'm not saying he'd vote for us, I'm just saying that he'd be fair.
Well, I guess what a lot of people don't get out of this story, with Dershowitz especially, is he's multiple times said, "I know all of the names. Obviously, I can't tell them to you because I'm court
Right.
ordered blocked, and Trump isn't one of them. You're not going to get Trump through doing this."
Sean, no one in their right mind who's watching this podcast or will watch this podcast will believe for a minute that if there is anything on Trump, that Biden and company would not have used it.
Mm.
Folks, come on, remind yourself. With Jack Smith and the rest of the jihad, they attempted to sentence Trump to 700 years in federal prison.
Mhm.
They made up shit that never happened. They took accounting mistakes in 2017 and convicted him for election interference in 2016. They did an illegal raid of his home. They reclassified things to go in and take them from him to say that he was viewing classified things when he himself, as president, had declassified them. These things have all come to light. The dirty trick doesn't even describe what this was. This was malevolence. This was evil. This was jihad on Trump. The idea that those same Satanists, which is what they are, would have access to some sort of pedo thing about Trump and they wouldn't have brought it out. I mean, come on. Nick's old friend Massey, he talked about the Epstein list or whatever. For God's sake, if Trump was on that list, Epstein would release the list and redact every name but Trump. Those are the times we live in.
It didn't work for
He's not on there.
MTG. It didn't work for MTG. Does it work for Thomas Massey?
I look. He's talking about becoming a Democrat today. I sent that to you.
Yeah. I think he cannot actually do that until after the primary, which is 1 month away.
Yeah, which he's going to
I did
lose.
respond to you on that.
He's trying to talk people, Democrats, into come over and voting for him because he's signaling he'll be sympathetic.
Well, there you go, because he obviously I believe by the state election committee, the SEC. You also have the federal election committee, the FEC. That he absolutely cannot switch parties a month out from his primary.
Right.
All that being said, you're dead on. But he's like, "Hey, listen, I'll be part of you."
That's right.
And he's been doing all these videos. Some of them are funny. He's a smart dude. He really is. He is not a conservative.
I've never
He's
questioned
never
his
been a
intelligence.
conservative. He's a libertarian.
I've never questioned his intelligence. I've only questioned his character.
Right. And so, of course, hey, well, what if somebody leaks out, even though he didn't say it, he really didn't. Somebody leaks out, well, he's going to switch to the Democrat Party. How does that hurt him? It doesn't. It doesn't.
No.
Right. So,
No.
this,
I mean, he may even get a few people to register as Republicans and cross over and try to put him over the top. Kind of the whole Texas and Mississippi game they play every primary with Ted Cochran and
yep.
what they're trying to do with Cornyn. Do you realize that in Texas, my man Kenny Paxton, all right, coming down the line, March 3rd, we're less than a month away from the primary. Cornyn, that rhino turd, has spent $100 million
Mm.
in a primary in Texas. Let that sink in. And he's still running third behind Paxton and Wesley Hunt. He may not even make the runoff. Now, you thought Jeb Bush was a bad investment as president, okay? Cornyn makes Bush look like a piker.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see. The one I'm
Now,
really
wait a
watching.
minute. All those battleground states. What are those red candidates going to use for money now that Cornyn is vacuuming that shit down in Texas? And who the hell is going to send those assholes anymore?
Well, so the big funding PACs obviously come from the Senate.
Yes.
Mitch McConnell. But then hold on, you got two others. You got a Trump PAC, and you've got the America PAC, which is funded by Elon. And
Right.
they don't seem to be showing any interest in funding losers
Oh,
whatsoever.
in fact, there's way too many rhinos getting funding for those guys.
Well, yeah, but the three big dog
Yeah.
PACs are like,
Yeah.
yeah, we can outfund you. Go fuck yourself.
Right.
Right? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I love Elon's involvement, but this romance with the big government puppies is bothering me a bit. I mean, I think we may need to wait for Vance to deliver us. I mean, they're but maybe we can hang in there. But I mean, these rhinos. This is hard.
Well,
By the way,
hold on. Let me reset. I know we're over the hour mark, but let me reset. I think what Elon's looking at is what all of us are looking at that have been doing this for years, even the tiny guys like us that have been podcasting, is it knows that if we actually just don't quit, if we quit, and then right, they win again. The
right,
progressive left, we all go to jail. We go to
right.
Hillary Clinton said, "Well, you probably need to be deprogrammed." Hillary Clinton wants to put us in deprogramming clamps. And then, yeah,
Let's
people are gonna say, no. She said it, but that's not what she means. Bull
let's get
shit.
her.
And then
Sean, will you invite her? Will you invite
at
her on the
hold,
show? I'd like to ask her about
hold,
that.
hold on. Then you look at the people in Minnesota or other places, and the way they literally want to unalive you because of your beliefs, because you don't believe the same thing they believe. And here's what's funny: 3 years from now, they'll believe something totally different.
Okay, and I can't think of a better illustration for that than what we talked about earlier. Were you guys really anti-war? No, you were, as usual. You were anti-Republican war. Okay,
Mhm.
same way. You are not really anti-abuse of power. You are anti-Republican power. That's how you roll. That they can do the exact same thing, and you see the big blue D. It's different when Democrats do it.
Well, you also got to look at this. And I bring this up all the time. Is the Rush used to tell us, right? It's just that most of the voters they just don't pay any attention to it. They just live their life, and that's totally fine. They just want to live their life. So when we get into this and we have a voter issue, the Democrats have been way more successful at motivating people to go vote, even if those people they're low propensity voters,
Right.
they're uninformed, and that doesn't uninformed does not mean they're stupid. They're uninformed
Just
on
means
the
they don't know the score. Right.
yeah, they're uninformed on the issue. And so the Democrats have been very good since the 1950s about being able to build this. And the other thing, JC, hold on. I will tell you, Well, and I would love for all of you to argue with me. They are a minority, absolute minority that makes themselves or projects themselves out to be a majority through a massive different reasons, including changing parties for primaries, including mail-in voting, including and that's it. The $100. I'll give you $100 if you give me your ballot.
Every single possible subterfuge manipulation that you can think of, they do. And if you look, even at Georgia today, they're going on about the election, and they're going on about mistakes that Georgia made in the administration of the election. Those weren't mistakes, guys.
Okay.
When every single mistake leans left, they aren't mistakes.
No.
Okay? They're taking advantage of every shortcut, every bypass, every subterfuge, every deception they can to increase Democrat vote totals, to increase votes for the ruling class. That's what's going on. And yet our guys act like they don't even have a sack. They won't call it out. They won't even talk about it. They'll just say, well, it wasn't enough to swing the election. Fuck you, okay? You get enough of those things and you can swing anything. And to deny the obvious fact, the kind of thing you come to the Patriot Sons podcast for, is big city ballot stuffing went state and nationwide with the advent of the personal computer and the voting machine. And there are people that have their heads up their ass saying that the machine is not the problem, and the machines are definitely part of the problem. Even if they aren't recording votes wrong when you vote, what they do in the back office of those voting machines to see, oh, well, who didn't vote? Well, let's give this vote to this one, and they voted for Biden, right? They're doing that. And the computer allows them to do it so quickly you can't detect it.
Yep.
And they got sloppy a few years ago, and we caught the vote totals changing on the screen. They've never explained it. How the hell does someone get a fractional vote? What is that? Okay? And no one will answer it. No one will bring it up.
They don't need to. They'll just destroy the evidence.
Right. Which they tried to do even in Georgia. And now they're trying not to produce it. They're trying to get a judge to tell them to put it back.
Yep.
Come on. What does it take? Do you care if we actually have a free election? Do you care? Or is it only about, oh, if the Democrats win, give a fuck what happened? I mean,
So hold on, and let's follow this through. I know we got to close this show out, but let's follow this through because I believe what the left actually wants to do, right, is just win power, what, no matter what. Here's the problem that they don't see yet is that they will be hated by the government just as much as me and you in just a few short years. And they will be suppressed. They will be oppressed. They will,
fact,
and they don't know it. They don't. They
there's
think,
the old
oh, I'm
old
just gonna win power for the people.
the old rule of communism that they don't understand is
Right.
that the useful idiots are the first ones that get shot because they know they have no moral character. They know they can't count on their word, keep their word on anything, so they're useless. So the fact is, they just line them up on the wall to shoot them as soon as they can.
Well, if you look at it, watch what's happening in Minneapolis and St. Paul. They're sending militant groups. And you go, no, it's a white woman. No, they're sending militant groups to go obstruct federal law
Right. Right. And they're actually in signal chats with logistics and support
of the
for their
government. The government's in the Discord chats.
right.
They're the ones directing it. The government of the state.
Flan, the craziest bitch on earth, the lieutenant governor of Minnesota, Flanagan. If you don't think so, look at a picture of her in her hijab.
No?
All right.
All right, let's close this one out. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If you
Make
watch it
Tuesday
later,
great again. All right.
if you watch it later, drop us a comment. We're gonna do another show tomorrow. It'll be
All
totally,
right.
it'll be totally different than what we're doing here. Oh, who knows? Maybe JC and I will just drop it on Friday and just talk about how pissed off we are about everything.
Could happen. Could happen. I mean, JC's got a little more time, so let's go for it.
There you go.